In this video, I want to show you some little magical ingredients that you can add to your daily routine, to the things you already eat, and some new foods you can start including, healthy things as well, for you to implement in your routine to improve your strength, your body's health, your legs, your heart, your energy, to live longer and live better. And let's start with the first ingredient that you can add to your morning coffee when you wake up, or that afternoon coffee when you get sleepy after lunch, when you have that coffee to give yourself a boost of energy to get through your day. You can add a very interesting ingredient which contains a magnesium compound that is very, very beneficial for the health and strength of our legs, and that is cocoa powder. Here is the cocoa powder shown here in the image I'm showing you. This is cocoa powder. You can add from 2 heaping teaspoons to your coffee, and if you like it a bit stronger, if you want a stronger cocoa flavor, you can add even more. Just remember, it's cocoa, okay? Cocoa powder that's 100% or at least 90 something percent pure, all right? Don't use that chocolate drink mix, that milk chocolate powder, because that's highly processed and not really close to anything natural. We should always look for what's most natural, since that's what's most beneficial for our health, okay? Secondly, to improve the health of your legs, it's very important that you stay hydrated. And when it comes to hydration, a lot of people are mistaken and think it's just about drinking water, but that's not the case. When we talk about staying hydrated, we're talking about replacing what we lose through urine and sweat. And to replace that, it's not enough to just drink water. We also need minerals. And a natural compound that contains all these minerals is sea salt, unrefined salt. Pay close attention. I'm not talking about that fine powdery table salt, the highly refined one we usually have in the kitchen. That's not the salt I'm talking about. The salt I'm explaining here, the one we usually have in our kitchens, is sodium hypochlorite. It's basically the sodium extracted from this salt here, which is the salt we find in nature, in rocks, and in the sea. Unrefined salt, which is usually sea salt that comes from the sea, unrefined, contains several minerals besides sodium. It contains magnesium. It has potassium. It has the other minerals as well. All the wealth of whole minerals present in this salt is what makes it not harmful to our health. So, to hydrate ourselves, we turn to salt for help. So, what is the ideal amount? Usually, you dilute 1 or 1.5 teaspoons of this whole salt, which is this coarser salt, right? You shouldn't just buy coarse salt for barbecues because many of them have already been processed and only contain sodium. You need to check the ingredients to see if it actually contains whole salt. Pay close attention because I'm going to teach you how to buy salt. When you look at the back of the salt package, in the ingredients list, you need to see that it says whole salt. So it's a salt where you'll see the ingredients: sea salt, marine salt, and iodine. Basically, that's it. Just those 2 ingredients, right? And usually these products state on the packaging that all the natural minerals of the salt are preserved. If it doesn't have that, forget it. It's a highly processed salt and it's bad for you. Now, if it says that it has preserved, 95, 90, 99% of the minerals, you can buy and use that salt, either dissolve it in water or take a glass of water with a pinch of salt. Be careful not to overdo it, okay? This salt won't raise your blood pressure, but of course, anything in excess is bad for you. So basically, the ratio is 1 teaspoon per liter of water. You can either dissolve the teaspoon in a liter of water, or you can simply drink a glass about 200 or 300 milliliters of water with a pinch of salt. And then throughout the day, you just repeat this process, okay? Well, so now let's talk about our third important element for the strength of your legs, your arms, and your body: beetroot. Beetroot contains many very important compounds, essential nutritional elements, vital vitamins, and minerals that are incredibly beneficial for your blood health and overall circulation. And for us to have strength in our legs, strength in our arms, and strength in our body, we need healthy blood. Blood that is rich in nutrients and effectively carries those nutrients. And also, we need our immunity to be well strengthened. And beetroot provides us with that. It gives us a very strong immunity, which is very important so that we don't get sick and our bodies remain strong and healthy. The next interesting element is avocado. Avocado is also a great source of magnesium, which is very important for the regeneration and maintenance of your muscles, your legs, strength, and the functioning of your legs. It's an element that it's actually a fruit, avocado, right? That has a lot of healthy fats, and fat is essential for our brain to function. For a long time, we were all taught that fat is incredibly dangerous and that fat will eventually clog your arteries. But here we are specifically talking about heavily processed fat, the exact kind of unhealthy fat that comes from packaged foods, right? Things like condensed milk, highly processed milk, sugary sweets, milk chocolate, salty chips, and cookies. Essentially, all those manufactured products that contain a high amount of that specific kind of harmful fat. A list of ingredients full of chemical additives, right? Products that really go through a huge industrial process, last for years before expiring. That's what's truly dangerous and can harm you, clog your arteries. But what about healthy fat? What exactly is healthy fat? It's the fat that comes from nature, so from grains, the natural fat found in grains, not from genetically modified grains, which unfortunately is the case with most wheat these days, for example. But peanuts, the fat that's naturally present in fruits, like in jackfruit, right? And the fats we have in our avocados are very healthy for our brains. And if our brain works well, the rest of our body also works well, okay? So the next item on the list, which is very important for the health of our muscles and also our legs, is red meat. You can also think of red meat as the various different types of meat cuts, including liver, which, if you happen to like to eat it, actually has a very high concentration of essential vitamins, and fish, which are incredibly rich in healthy fats for our brain and our physical body as well, right? It is also important to remember that chicken and eggs are excellent sources of animal fat and vital protein for us. Protein is very important, as you probably already know, for regenerating our muscles and making them stronger. And of course, as we reach a certain age, after 50, 60, 70 years old, our muscles tend to get smaller and smaller, so we need to eat plenty of protein, right? So that we can effectively maintain our muscles and overall strength. So please don't forget to regularly include high quality red meat in your diet. And you really don't need to be afraid to eat that natural layer of fat, specifically that little piece of flavorful fat that comes along with red meat as well. You should always prefer using natural butter, and high quality olive oil instead of processed soybean oil and industrial margarine. Soybean oil is actually an oil that is artificially and chemically extracted from raw soybeans, right? Directly from the beans themselves on what we sow. And you should know that margarine is manufactured in almost exactly the same way. Consequently, it is important to remember that vegetable oil is only naturally present and healthy for you when you also eat that specific whole vegetable as part of your diet. When you extract just the oil, it's the same logic as with sodium. Remember when I talked about salt? That they extract only the sodium and then it becomes harmful? Oil and margarine follow the same logic. If you extract that from the vegetable, it's no longer healthy. It's an isolated substance that will harm you. So prefer butter, which is a natural fat, or olive oil. Many different people also frequently use rendered pork lard or traditional beef tallow. I don't recommend it as much because it's a very heavy fat, right? It won't necessarily harm you, but it can make you a bit more bloated, a little chubbier, let's put it that way. It won't make you gain weight, it won't cause obesity, okay? This fat is a natural fat, but it will make you retain a bit more weight. So you might end up with a little more belly fat, okay? So let's avoid using lard in your cooking. But don't be afraid. There is no need to fear the natural fat on the meat. You can even have a bigger piece than the one I'm showing you here with the mouse, alright? You can have a bigger piece, yes, don't worry. And finally, I couldn't leave this out. I know that many of you don't particularly enjoy physical exercise, right? You avoid exercise as a way of, to be honest, it's just that natural laziness, right? Many times that laziness just hits. But look, if you're feeling low on energy to go out to take a walk on the beach, right? Go to your park, to the park closest to your house so you can walk, exercise, right? Not just walking. We know that strength training is also very important, and it doesn't have to be only at the gym. It can be at the gym, but it can also be at your house or in a public square. I have a video here on the channel that teaches you how to exercise at home and strengthen your legs, your arms, your body, okay? But exercise is very important, and if you're feeling really low on energy, right? Tired, lacking energy, you need to get some blood tests done. Ask your doctor, right? To get blood and urine tests to see if you don't have a deficiency in some vitamin, if you're not missing some mineral or substance that could help you have more energy to exercise in your daily life. But if it's just laziness, just put that laziness aside. It's really good for us to exercise because we feel stronger, we feel more energetic, we sleep better, and when we sleep better, we rest more, rest better, and also have more energy, more vitality, and better health. I hope this video was helpful for you and that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for making it this far. And look, if you like this content, don't leave the video just yet. Click the subscribe button down below so you can stay up to date with our next videos and the latest health tips we always bring here for you. For those of you who are already in your 60s, 50s, 70s, living the best phase of your life, God willing. So may God bless us, a big hug, and leave your comment. I want to know where you're watching this video from. I'm watching from Massachusetts, I'm watching from Washington, from New York, from Ohio, from Texas, from California. Where are you watching this video from? Leave it here in the comments and I'll see you in the next video. See you next time.